Morning from a mildly wet Malta. We're staying up this street. I'll show you the outside of it at some stage while we're here today, if I remember. There's the harbour. We're going to go down and check on the car, and then we're going to see if we can get a ferry across into Valetta. So we'll take a walk down here, and I'll put you back on again when we get round the corner where the harbour is. Okay, we've walked down, we've dumped our rubbish and checked the car. We're just walking round now towards like a marina area, and we kind of walk back on ourselves. We've got to get to the other side of this marina for a ferry. I think they call it 3 cities, the ferry, so I'm not really sure what that means. So unless it's like it's 3 cities together. So this is the marina, or one of the marinas. I think there's quite a lot here. We need to be on the other side of this, but because we was checking on the car, we figured it would be a nice way to walk. So it's a bit wet today, so we're going to do Valetta and have a look around Valetta. We're on the south side of Valetta. I think Christine's on a go slow again, must be taking photographs. And I can't remember what the area is called where we are. I think it's something like Copia or something like that, but it's on the south side of, well, just south of Valetta. So we're going across that side over there. There's a lot of people here that are thinking, but they do call it 3 cities. So Valetta being one of them. Well, I think Valetta is. I don't know if they class that as one of them or not, but I know the ferry is classed as 3 cities ferry. So I think we get the ferry from down here, but it's like they were just telling those people there that it was heavily bombarded around here during the war, and quite a lot of it was flattened and has been rebuilt.
Oh, so it's old, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Might be easier to walk. Oh no. On here. Good timing we got here. There we go, there's the ferry. We've got a one-way ticket. It cost us €2 each. Apparently Malta is one of the few, or the second place in the EU to have free public transport. So for the locals, this would be free, but €2 is not bad for us either. So anyway, this is our ferry. There's quite a few people that are waiting for it. They run every 30 minutes all day, so not gonna break the bank. Anyway, that's what we're getting on, and Christine insists we sit upstairs outside in the rain so we can get the views. Right, we're just waiting on the ferry. The 3 cities which are on this side are Vittoriosa, Sanglia and Cospicua, and Cospicua is where we're actually staying. And it does say, known as the 3 cities of Malta, and are a piece of living history kept alive by hundreds of years of preservation and the occasional miracle. Well, we're on our way now. It's about approximately a 15-minute crossing, because adjusting and picking bits off the screen, I think. Yeah, approximately a 15-minute crossing. So we'll video this and interesting. Might get a bit of water on the screen, but it is what it is.
That's correct.
It's yeah, we knew it wasn't going to be the best today, so we figured the best thing to do was we'll do as many things as we can that are inside things. So, which is pretty much a trip across to Valetta for us today.
We always come again, can't we, along here?
Pardon?
We can always come along here in the sun.
Yeah, we can always come back. I mean, at €2 each is well,
Wow.
really cheap price considering, you know, you're looking at 10 or 15-minute crossing for a little boat thing coming in. It's quite a popular harbour.
Busy, isn't it?
Pardon?
Busy harbour.
Yeah. Some pretty big yachts coming up. Yeah, we're heading across to Valetta, so they call this side the 360, so I'm assuming two of them are divided by this harbour. Later in the week we are going to go and have a go at snorkeling.
Okay.
Weather permitting.
Falling over.
Yeah, there we go. So that one over there, that sort of black, grey one there. Proper ocean going vessels. That one looks like a
Stop
trawl.
here.
Pardon?
Stop here, don't we?
Will we stop here for?
I think we get up here, don't we?
No, you've got to go over there. You know where you are getting off. No, we've a way to go yet. We're going to have a look at the museum. I think we'll probably get an opportunity to see the George Cross. So Christine wants to wipe the lens. walk out to them lighthouses. There's a way round, so we'll probably do that at some stage. Might even walk out to the one on the left today, possibly. Yeah, there's a bit of wind and rain about the minute. So, trip on the boat. We're just walking up and through what's called Victoria Gate. Oh, that way. St Elmo War Museum is where we're actually heading, and Lower Barracks. So, which is pointing us that way. So I suppose that's the way we'll go. Here's a definite difference between, I suppose, modern and old. Is that is definitely modern, and that is definitely old. But they've barbed wired all of that lot. So I don't know how much of it is original structure and how much of it is bombed from, you know, the Second World War. It becomes, I mean, it was pretty much flattened, shall we say. If you look at this building, if you look at the bottom, them blocks are all quite new. But if you go around half of the window, they look really old and weathered, and then it goes new again. So I think they've tried to keep a lot of what they had and then tried to build around it, is what it looks like. Well, there's a good view of the harbour. Big cruise liner in there. And yeah, we're on our way to, I think they call it Fort Elmo, Fort St Elmo. There's a Malta flag up there with a George cross on it. Hopefully, I think that's where it's actually kept. So we'll see. I think it's the major defences for Malta were based up here. Okay, we're inside the actual fort now. So this was one of the main defence areas. Read you some of the things. It says, in reality, this bastion is located outside Fort Elmo, since it forms part of the Valetta enceinte built in the 16th century. In 1785 it was armed with 7 cannons and 11 mortars. That was this bit here. So we're on the outside of the thing. So we're showing a couple now. That's what you call a chain, I think. There. Yeah. Yeah, proper chains them, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, I think this is the main entrance coming up. I'll have another read on what this says. So this is St Lazarus Battery. This battery was added in 1908. In 1910 it was armed with 2 quick-firing 12-pounder guns. Besides a quick-rate fire, this type of artillery technology made use of smokeless propellant, which is cordite. tankers. So we'll have a nosy in. I'm hoping that at some point on this we will see the George Cross. I'm kind of hoping. We'll see, I suppose. There's a vantage point up here and we'll take advantage of it. I think these were originally, or were put here in the, well, just around about the war time, and would have had gun emplacements on them. Here you can see where the concrete's been filled in from where they would have been. So actually protecting the entrance of the harbour. It looks like on the far side there's some bits and pieces as well, like towers for, I don't know whether that was for spotting, looking at sea, shooting from, I don't know. This one is, they called it, I think it is an Abercrombie battery. They'd been here from about 1680. You can see where the gun emplacements were, and then how they could pitch around. Some knights there. I think just like the Knights Templar, the Knights Hospitaller, which I think is where the word hospital comes from, which were the knights that they kind of, I think they cared for and looked after the sick, that kind of thing. I think they named this walkway here Submarine Walkway, I think in memory of the submarines and that was sunk around here. So it says HMS Polder was regarded as the most successful Royal Navy submarine of the Second World War, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Malcolm David Wankley, VCDSO, etc. HMS Polder was lost with all hands on her 25th Patrol Navy in 1942. This should have been her last patrol before returning to England. The most likely explanation for her loss is that after being spotted by a reconnaissance seaplane, she fell victim to depth charges dropped northeast of Tripoli in position 34 degrees 47 north, 16 degrees 55 east. The Admiralty officially announced HMS Polder's loss on the 27th of August 1942 in a communique that carried special praise for the boat and her crew. It said, "It is seldom proper for their lordships to withdraw distinction between different services rendered in the course of naval duty. They take this opportunity of singling out those of HMS Polder with the command of Lieutenant Commander David Franklin. For special mention, she was long employed against enemy communication with the central Mediterranean and became noted for the uniformly high quality of their services in the arduous and dangerous duty. Such was the standard and skill of daring set by Lieutenant Commander Wankley and the officers and men under him that they and their ship became an inspiration, not only to their own flotilla, but the fleet of which she was part of, where so long HMS Polder was based." This monument is dedicated to HMS Urge. HMS Urge is a British submarine of the Royal Navy commanded by Lieutenant Commander Edward Philip Tompkins, DSO RN. During World War II, the submarine had an outstanding record of success during a critical time for Malta and the Allied forces between 1941 and 1942. HMS Urge sank and damaged Axis warships and supply ships, landed and recovered British Special Forces and Allied secret agents on enemy coasts, and took part in operations to defend Malta's convoy. Shortly before dawn, 27th of April 1942, HMS Urge sailed from Malta for Alexandria. She was never heard from again, having been lobbied with 32 of her ship's company and 12 passengers when she struck a German mine whilst on course from Malta to Egypt. A search project led by the University of Malta in coordination with Maltese authorities and the commanding officer's family discovered the wreck in 2019. Wow. The Admiral in command of the Royal Navy submarine in 1942 stated that Lieutenant Commander Tompkinson's courage, leadership and great skill were second to none in the British submarine service in either the First or Second World Wars. The official report into the loss of HMS Urge recorded that Lieutenant Commander Tompkinson was an outstanding, able leader of a fine ship company, and that his determination, forethought and excellent eye produced results of the highest order of merit. Further awards to him were intended for a successful attack on a battleship, special force mission and the sinking of a cruiser, but were pending at the date of his loss. HMS Urge's crew built a superlative reputation as fighting submarines, most having served with a submarine since launch. The town of Bridgend in Wales adopted HMS Urge from November 1941. After the war, the British Royal Navy named buildings in honour of HMS Urge's exceptional commanding officer and ship's company. The courage and sacrifice of all those lost in HMS Urge will never be forgotten. So I think there's 2 or 3 of these that are on here, so there's a lot more submarines than the ones that I've actually read out. This here says pieces bestowed, it is achieved through sacrifice. 89 sailors lost their lives on the 8th of May 1942 when the submarine HMS Olympus struck a mine and sank off the coast of Malta. May they never be forgotten. And I think there's the ship's company. So interesting. These were originally stores built around 1880 and incorporated several machinery and gun sheds. Pre-Second World War plans of Fort St Elmo indicate that within this section was a garage for a fire engine. The casements were also utilised as ammunition magazines for the storage of shells in use by guns installed nearby and as a shelter for soldiers. So, and I can see up there, look, there's that looks like a kind of a C shape. I think they were like lookout and posts, so you could see right out to sea. Here's some old cannons. Pardon?
I'll get some pictures when you put them.
Yeah, yeah. Look at these ones here. I think these would have dated back to pretty much what would have been the First World War, I think. So I'll catch on what it says on this thing, but I'm fairly sure that these would be right around the First World War time. Oh, in the second half of the 19th century, artillery became even more larger and heavier, especially the rifle muzzle loading gun. Moreover, their technology required new military architecture, thus that the carafe enceinte around Fort St Elmo required modification through new gun emplacements. Look at them, look at the shells. And look at the rifling. I don't know if you can see that, but you could just see the rifling, look, inside. And that was to make these bad boys spin when they came out, which made firing more accurate. So they actually became the firing became a bit more true to aim, whereas the old-fashioned cannonballs kind of went in any old direction. This is what they call Abercrombie battery. and in here are the remains of Lieutenant General Sir Ralph Abercrombie, and it was renamed in his honour. It was appointed in the Mediterranean Command in April 1800. There's some pictures from there which date back to 1914. So that was when we was on the brink of global war, and that's around here. That's World War II, and that's a photo of what would have been Malta. Their searchlights, I assume. It's like a visit by the king. And okay, that the commander, that Ralph Abercrombie, his remains were removed from the salient of the Bastion to a vault under this traverse in 1871. So he's actually just under there somewhere now. Okay, this was F gun that was on here. It says this was a six twin 6-pounder gun to be installed. There were 3 guns in Fort Ricasoli, 5 at Fort Elmo, 2 at Abercrombie Bastion Station, which is where we are, and 1 on each of the bastions of St Lazarus, Ball and St Gregory, and another on an English curtain in Masmet. So Christine's pointing into here. That must have been where you stood your rifles. Wow, this must be another one of those gun emplacements. You can see there, look, this is E-gun. Malta has been under attack by the Axis powers since June 11, 1940. By the summer of 1941, most of the coastal areas around the Mediterranean were under Axis control. However, the strategic position of Malta posed an obstacle to the German and Italian transport of supplies in the Mediterranean, particularly to North Africa. From their base in Malta, the Allies bombarded Axis base in South Italy and Sicily, together with submarine attacks against Axis shipping in Maltese waters. Therefore, it was imperative for the Axis to neutralise Malta. This was mostly attempted through constant aerial attacks and by stopping Allied convoys from reaching Malta. The idea of the Italian Navy was that if such convoys should be stopped en route to Malta, they could be destroyed while in the Grand Harbour. And there's an aerial view of the Grand Harbour during the Second World War. We are at the moment around here at the moment. Yeah. these would have been built specifically for the war, so these would have been actually lookout posts. So you could see right out to sea. I don't know if there's an entrance. We'll have a look around this side. Doubt there is, but you never know. No, we can't get in. Can't get in.
Okay, no.
No. Well, there's an opening, but you can't get into it. And that's showing this battery. We'll just have another little bit of a walk out here, and then we'll go back down again then. So these are your views out to sea. We've looked at that battery there, and there you can see another lookout post, look, on there, and up there on the top, look. So they're quite modern really, so they would relate to the Second World War and lookout positions. And there's the other one. So you've got a great view going out to sea. I was reading a piece of information, I don't know if it came up on that video. There was an Italian boat, torpedo boat, and it was out there on the horizon, and the maximum length of one of the 6-pounder guns, which is those over there, is 5,000 metres, I think, or 5,000 yards, but the boat was 5,500 yards away. So what the guy decided to do, he wanted to shoot at it anyway, and what it did is, although it hit the sea before it got to the boat, the actual wash and everything that went on and the explosion of it killed everybody on board the boat. So I think he was awarded with some a medal, some distinction for that. Not the clearest day today, but and that there, you can just see that bridge. I think on that film it showed like a torpedo exploding underneath that bridge section. Don't know if you could, be nice if you could get along there, but I don't think you can. Okay, there is a monument to the Knights Hospital, so we kind of jumped back a few hundred years. But look at the opening to this with the eye. So that was built in 1552, restored in 1943. Surprised it survived if it was restored in 1943. Let's have a look what it says. It's called the Relief Gate. This gate was of utmost importance during the Great Siege of 1565, since it was used every night to take out casualties and receive new supplies and reinforcements from Bergen. This took place almost until Fort St Elmo fell to the Ottomans on the 23rd of June 1565. Technically, Fort St Elmo starts beyond this gate. It was the British Army who in the 19th century began to consider the surrounding Ontiente as part of the fort. So this bit out here where we've been wasn't actually classed as part of the fort until the British decided it should be. So, but look at the eye, it's quite cool that. We've just come through the walls and we're now at St Anne's Chapel. Already in existence in 1488, this chapel was incorporated in the construction of Fort St Elmo. So. Wow. Okay, I think where we're going to go next is into the National War Museum. So I think that's where the George Cross is. I will give you a ring. when we get in there. I've just come into this area, which is a memorial area, and let's have a look. I mean, these are people, those that have served, that have received medals, so we must be getting close. Nice to see them, some medals on show. Older ones there. So this is the Malta medal. It says, to the citizens of Malta, we the members of the Canadian Legion, the British Empire Service League, assembled in convention in the city of Winnipeg on this the 24th day of May 1942, moved by unbounded admiration for the matchless bravery, the fortitude and the sacrifices of the men in their hours of trial. Throughout the ages, Malta has ever stood impregnable in the forefront of the battles for the preservation of human rights and human liberty. Its glories, written in the immortal achievements of its people, are enriched in our hearts. Theirs to be a proud tradition with a supreme fidelity to the trust bequeathed by their forefathers. The people of Malta are today the inspiration of the civilized world. Malta is a living symbol of the eternal truth that freedom is a gift only to those who have the faith and the courage to defend it. The world's debt to the people of Malta is great, and it daily becomes greater. In humble thanks to the noble and valorous people, the Canadian Legion asks citizens of Malta to accept for themselves and for their posterity this gold badge of the Canadian Legion, the highest expression of honour, affection and admiration which it is within our gift to bestow. And that's A. Walken, Dominion President. Malta, your name. This was presented in 1949 as a tribute to the heroism of the Maltese people. It says, Malta, your name shall echo through all time, and all mortality shall still appraise the head held high, the unperturbed gaze and constancy, the attributes sublime, proud and predominant, like those who climb to a battle in the blue above your bays. You too aspire in freedom's lofty ways to achieve the purpose and avenge the crime. The harvest of each old forgotten feud is new nobility, its garnered gold in fearlessness and faith and fortitude, forever in the human heart to hold. Kindred of England, Malta, you shall be like her jewels set in a silver sea. It's a bit about some of the loss of one of the ships. There's another one, which is British Empire Service League. It says, to the people of Malta, we the members of the British Empire Service League, assembled in council at Zomba, I must admit I'm having trouble reading that, so I'm not going to bother. But that was bestowed on 19th of August 1943. Again, to the people of Malta. So, and this one, this is from the United States. America salutes the island of Malta, its people and defenders who in the cause of freedom and justice and decency throughout the world have rendered valorous service far above and beyond the call of duty. Under repeated fire from the skies, Malta stood alone but unafraid in the centre of the sea, one tiny bright flame in the darkness, a beacon of hope for the clear days which have come. Malta's bright story of human fortitude and courage will be read by posterity with wonder and with gratitude throughout all the ages. What has done in this island remains the highest traditions of gallant men and women who, from the beginning of time, have lived and died to preserve civilization for all mankind. Okay, here's one of the gun emplacements. The foot things on it. So, yeah. We're getting closer to this George medal, George Cross. There you are, look, you can see now where that the red bridge is there. When it went across and the torpedoes had hit that bit that's in the middle, look. Now obviously that's a new bridge that's been put up since. So we're going back in time, Bronze Age and the Romans. Roman glass, look at that. That's where we walked around when we saw the other the Malta medal and citations from the USA and Canada. So this is all medieval Malta. Okay, now we're on the Knights of St John early period, from the arrival of the Hospitallers to the Great Siege. The Hospitallers were a little bit like the Knights Templar kind of thing, except that's where your word hospital comes from. So it's fairly obvious what they were into. Selling the grim. They were outnumbered a little bit, weren't they? They used to use those for muskets, didn't they? Each one of them would have been a shot, wouldn't it, of powder and such and that. Says if we cannot save up Malta, we all must die. The Knights expected the Ottomans to attack Bergu and Senglea, the heart of their defences, but Mustafa Pasha, with superior numbers and firepower, chose to secure safe anchorage by attacking Fort St Elmo. Weeks of incessant bombardment and vicious hand-to-hand fighting followed. The Knights and Maltese soldiers repelled every attack with reinforcements and supplies. Still arriving from St Angelo, hope prevailed for a time, but gradually faded. By the time St Elmo fell a few weeks later, the walls were crumbling, the Cavalier had been lost, and only a handful of the Knights remained. What have they gone? There's a weapon knife.
From St Elmo and St Angelo, the first ships are spotted on May the 18th, 1565. The Ottoman troops disembark at Marsa-Shlock and head towards St Elmo. Capturing that jewel would enable the fleet to move into Marsamxhead harbour and easily attack Birgu and Senglea. On May the 20th, the first skirmish of the siege takes place, when the Turks' advanced guard defeats a small detachment of the Knights' cavalry sent on a reconnaissance mission. The Ottoman army sets up camp at Marsa and makes their first attack on Fort St Elmo 3 days later. Taking St Elmo was to be no easy task, but on June the 23rd, the fort is finally conquered by the Turkish army. Mustafa Pasha ties the beheaded bodies of captured knights to crucifixes and sends them as a warning across the Grand Harbour. In retaliation, Grand Master de Valetta executes all the Turkish prisoners and uses their heads as cannonballs. Now the Turkish fleet is able to move into Marsamxhead harbour and turn the guns on Mount Shivaras towards Senglea and Fort St Angelo. New artillery points face Fort St Michael. Pasha orders small boats carried over the peninsula from Marsamxhead to the Grand Harbour to attack from the water as well as the guns. But de Valetta finds out and orders a blockade of wooden sticks planted to prevent their landing. On July the 5th, the Piccolo Soccorso, a small band of reinforcements, arrives at Birgu from Sicily, a cause of great celebration. The attack on Senglea intensifies on July the 15th, and the palisade is breached. De Valetta sends extra troops across from Birgu to stop the advancing Turks. Sensing the advantage, Mustafa sends 1,000 janissaries on 10 boats to finish off the fort, but hidden guns take out 9 of the boats and 800 of the crack troops. The forts of St Angelo and St Michael are now surrounded, and over the next 3 days even more guns are added to the crossfire. But the forts had great provisions and are linked to each other across the water. The guns fall silent on the 7th of August, and Piani leads his troops against the Bastion of Cathedral on Senglea. At the same time, Mustafa Pasha breaches the walls of St Michael's and is on the brink of victory. Back in Medina, Deluni takes the cavalry to attack the lightly guarded Turkish camp. The knights slaughter the sick and wounded and their horses. Hearing about this attack, Mustafa Pasha assumes it must be reinforcements arriving from Sicily. He pulls back his soldiers from near victory and turns to fight the new army, sending scouts ahead to Medina to see if it can be conquered. Medina, the ancient capital, is not well armed, but Deluni tricks the Turks into thinking it is full of troops and ammunition. The Ottomans now believe that Medina too would be hard to take, and with the autumn fast approaching, a safe return voyage to Constantinople, post-victory, is in question. The Grand Soccorso, or main reinforcements, finally arrive from Sicily, and the rumour spreads through the Ottoman camps that these forces are 16,000 strong. Piani and Mustafa Pasha decide to head home. Following the victory, the Knights of St John decide that Malta is truly their home, and quickly build the fortified city of Valetta. Pope Pius sends his military engineer Francesco Laparelli to help with this endeavour, to create a city built by gentlemen for gentlemen, to ensure that Fort St Elmo, and thus Malta, could not be taken again.
Makes you wonder if any of these have ever seen real action, doesn't it? Male frock coat from the 18th century and a female bodice. Here we are, this is Fort St. Elmo. This is where we are at the front. Oh, maybe not. That's apparently inside one of the theatres. I'm not sure if it's still like that. But Cathedral, sorry, not theatre. It must be because on one of it does have the beheading of St. John on it. Of John the Baptist, should I say.
So I suppose we should leave for Valetta after we live inside. Well, yes, we should be, but the French see you all over as rebels. The British were French see all entities as rebels. The British were discomfited and so free.
We're beginning to get near to the World Wars now. Look at that. Oh, fantastic, isn't it? I think that's like an artillery regiment. Couple of torpedoes. sea gladiator. Gloucester sea gladiator. Malta, 1939. Like a book there with shrapnel in it, look. Wow. Naval Europe, uniform. I remember the shirts and the hat. I don't remember having a pair of shorts like that. When I was in Sea Cadets, I had a shirt like that. Some cool stuff in here. Manchester Regiment. That's some of them that sunk. Pirates gear. Nurse's uniform. German stuff from the North Africa campaign. Gas masks, grenades. Wow. No, I do remember that uniform. Although his silk's not tied very well, and his lanyard's not tucked round properly. His trousers should have creases in them. And the lanyard don't go there, it goes underneath the blue collar. Still, surprised I could remember that. Ah, Christine, this is the same uniform I wore. I must admit, they've certainly got some kit. Well, certainly got some kit. Okay, I'm told in this one, in room 5, is where the George Cross is. So, wow, look at this. All these cannons out on here. How cool are they? All different sizes. From, well, that's quite a collection, that, isn't it? Quite a collection. The searchlight. And Barragino, which was like an Italian kind of torpedo boat. They were launched from bigger boats. They were launched from bigger boats. That one particular one was found just floating at sea. I think the people that were in it were abandoned it, I think. Anyway, we're going into 5 now, so let's have a look before we go. Oh, sorry. Wow, yeah.
Captain Mason is not giving up. Spitfire. By the summer of 1942, Malta is running out of food, ammunition, and above all, fuel. Just weeks away from surrender, its only hope lies in a highly dangerous mission. The SS Ohio, built in America, is one of the largest and fastest tankers in the world. Now commanded by British Merchant Navy Captain Dudley Mason, she is on her way to Malta with 11,000 tons of precious fuel. Alongside her are 13 heavily loaded merchant ships. Together, they form one of the most vital convoys of the war. To protect them, the Royal Navy assembles a massive fleet. 4 aircraft carriers, 2 battleships, 7 cruisers, and 32 destroyers. Their route takes them dangerously to the Italian fleet, and hordes of enemy bombers, through seas infested by submarines and torpedo boats. On day 2, the aircraft carrier HMS Eagle is on protection duty. Then, disaster strikes. She takes a direct hit from 4 torpedoes.
I think that from the time we were here, she was gone in 7 minutes.
She disappeared into the cloud of smoke which hung around her.
As the Navy drops depth charges to keep the subs at bay, the SS Ohio powers on. But by day 3, the convoy is under constant attack from the air. The first merchant ship is hit, another carrier put out of action. As dusk falls, the SS Ohio reaches the most Deadly torpedoes wreak havoc.
There were 3 terrific explosions. The first on HMS Nigeria, second HMS Cairo, then us, in Ohio.
Seawater from a massive hole in their side helps to put out the fire. But that night, there is carnage all around as torpedo bombers and Italian U-boats swarm into attack. By dawn on day 4, half the convoy's merchant ships have been sunk or put out of action. And daylight brings the stupidest back. The impact of one bomb knocks out the Ohio's boilers. She's now a 30,000-ton sitting duck. It's the start of a massive struggle. The Ohio is pushed and pulled painfully slowly towards Malta. Captain Mason is not giving up. Spitfires from the island provide air cover, but one Stuka gets through and a 1,000-pound bomb breaks Ohio's back. To stop her sinking, the Navy have to improvise. With destroyers on either side, the Ohio inches into the minefield surrounding Malta. Finally, on the morning of the 15th, the SS Ohio enters the harbour. Thousands of Malta's citizens are there to greet her. In all, just 4 merchant ships and the SS Ohio made it through to Malta with their fuel and supplies. But their heroic effort, the courage of the Royal Navy, meant that Malta was able to fight on. It was to prove a crucial turning point in the war.
Okay, this is the George Cross. It says, the Governor of Malta, to honour the brave people, award the George Cross to the island fortress of Malta, to bear witness to heroism and devotion that will long be famous in history. George R.I., which was George VI, April 15th, 1942. There you go. There's your George Cross. Here we are, Willie's Jeep. Pre-Yalta conference. Not a fucking... Excuse me. Excuse my language there. Get that for a bike. I think the weather's taking a turn for the worse. Getting a bit darker out here, and looks like the clouds are coming in a little bit. I wonder if they were like barracks then, or that they used. Who knows? Who knows? You know, we went in there, we're looking at the George Cross. Me and Christine stopped to look at it. Not one person stopped to look at it all. Not one. Unbelievable, really. You know, it's probably one of the most important things that Malta's got. Not one person looked at it. No, they're not interested. He's a wop anyway. Oops. Sorry, I apologise. He's of Italian descent, see, so therefore he probably wouldn't be that interested. We're actually in the underground prison cells now. This is all after the war and the rebuilding.
Oh, do you want to answer it? Oh, where is it?
Spam caller.
Oh, okay.
Apologise for that, no. This is the Suez Canal. Spoilt it a little bit. So it became an independent nation in 1964 and a republic in 1974. And the Royal Navy left in 1979. And they're taking the flag down. Look. Putting their own up. And nothing for 2004. So that they were actually cells that we've actually been through telling that bit there. Apologies for those little bits of being rudely interrupted.
Yeah, spam callers.
Yeah, spam callers. Christine's blocked them now. I've had a couple of those just lately. Right. Yeah. Anyway, the Cavalier, 1565 to 1945 now.
Welcome to the Cavalier, Captain Marbury, Royal Malta Artillery. I'm keeping a lookout up here on the roof, but even though Europe's been at war since last September, it's eerily quiet here in Malta. But these walls have seen their fair share of action. The Cavalier has been around for nearly 500 years, and every stone has a story to tell. I often imagine the knights right here, watching and waiting for the dreaded Turkish galleys.
Hardly a surprise, considering how much trouble our brave sailors have caused the Turks, but still. 200 galleys. A bit of an overreaction, I'd say, no. I'm glad we finally built the fort. It protects our two harbors. The fort is a star shape, which makes it harder for their guns to get a direct hit. The Cavalier, where you're standing now, is the lookout, the place for our strongest guns. But it's also the final refuge, the place we can come to with horse and gun for our last stand. We'd rather die than gift it to the Turk. It's the height of engineering, but we'll have to see if these sandstone rocks, thick as they are, can withstand the mighty guns of the Muslims. Thank God we've got the Lord on our side.
With Allah on our side, we will defeat those damn knights in a matter of days. Look at the guns we have here. This is a small one, firing only 3-pound stones. But once we found the range, accounted for the wind, boom. You should see the hole we still shot makes in their armor. And that's not all. We brought in the big guns. Literally. Every cannon that you see here was dragged up this hill to shoot down at their walls. The Bayonets will fire 170-pound ammunition. That is one very fat arquebusier. They're good fighters, the knights. I'll give them that. But in the end, our cannons will destroy their cannons. So, it was harder than I thought. But we got there. Dragging the Ravelin as they slept, and then the guards to the north and to the south to cut off their supplies. Then, it was just a matter of time before we could storm the fort and take the survivors. I hope the other forts give us less trouble though. That wasn't easy.
I'm not gonna tell you. It didn't matter. Of course, we were heartbroken to see St. Elmo fall. But that little fort did what we never dared dream. It took the Turks a month to capture, a third of their men, and 3/4 of their bravado. They felt the wrath of the Lord. And though they fought us for 2 more months, they finally left, defeated and ashamed. St. Elmo needed rebuilding, so we took stock of what went wrong. We're adding defensive walls around the Cavalier. And of course, we're building a great city behind the fort to prevent landborne attacks. When the work is done, this fort will stand for centuries to come.
And of course, there were centuries and fights to come. Please, go through that door, and I'll see you on the other side of the building work. We need them because things are constantly changing in the military. In the 19th century, there's an arms race underway. When the British took charge in Malta, massive gunships ruled the sea. And bigger ships means bigger guns from the Cavalier to defend Malta.
Sergeant Jack Watson at your service. And this 95 tons of her. Big enough to teach those Frenchies some respect. She can fire a 500-pound shell over 2,000 yards, if you know what you're doing. Just follow my orders and you'll soon learn. First, clean the muzzle. You there, sponge, and a double. You leave any muck in there, we'll all be blown to kingdom come. Next, the charge. That's gunpowder to you lot. Ram it home. We're not playing fireworks here, sir. Now, the shell. Steady as you go. It's hard on the outside, but its innards are enough to blow a hole in any ironclad.
Gun loaded, sir.
Very good. Target range is 2,000 yards. Elevation, 27 degrees. Line her up, boys. Take cover. Prepare to fire. Fire! Mind yourselves, gunpowder coming through. We've got about 9,000 barrels here, right where you're standing. That would have impressed the knights. But they didn't build for guns as big as mine. So the engineers are going to have to build a base full of concrete all around you.
Eventually, modern guns are just too big for the old foundations, and they have to be moved. But the Cavalier is still key to Malta's defense, with my lookout posts on the roof, and deep inside, a control room for the coastal guns. And that is your next stop. Move along, please. Mind your head as you go.
Yes, that's affirmative. Okay, out.
MTP departing at 900 hours. Friendly. Leaving Grand Harbor, eastbound. Bearing 060.
060.
Visual. Friendly. Proceeding to control area A.
All gun stations, 2 practice targets required at 0900 hours tomorrow. Out.
Canet okay. Eagle okay. Fox okay.
Monday, the 10th of June, 1940. This is the news. The Italian fascist leader Benito Mussolini has declared war on Britain and France.
Once again, the threat of war looms over Malta. We built this Cavalier some 400 years ago as a place of safety. Whenever Malta is in danger, this Cavalier has its role to play.
None of us know what will happen tonight. All we can do is keep watch.
The hurricane went slow. The Italians will be here before.
Tell you what, you're in my way.
We're having a conversation in the way. Oh.
Will the Italians really attack Malta, or just send us flowers?
Malta is Italy's first target of the war. 6 of my friends died that night, killed on duty on the roof of the Cavalier. This is only the beginning. They want to bomb us into submission, but our guns are ready.
Gun number 5, range 450, elevation 75 degrees.
Every time they came over, we put so many shells in the air.
Fire!
It looked like hellfire.
Number 6, 5 fire!
Number 2, elevation 70 degrees. Fire!
We'll work together, aligning our guns to throw at the speed of fire.
A box barrage over Malta.
But even that wasn't enough to stop the Stukas.
But there's always the threat of an attack.
Unidentified vessel, 55 miles, direction northeast.
We don't know who or what is out there.
Is this the invasion?
All stations, Gannet, Eagle, Fox, stand by your guns tonight.
just like being at home with the post box. Okay, it says this Maltese patriot, along with many others, was shot dead by the French in St George's Square on the 17th January 1799 after the Maltese revolt against the French and blocked them in Valetta and Cotonera. Inaugurated in 1986, the monument is the artistic work of Agnes Agnes. Oh. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're in the Collegiate Church of St. Paul. Yeah, St. Paul. So let's take it. Very different. Very different. A lot of naval influence there, look. And they died at typhoid fever at Malta, here, age 18 and 6 months, deeply mourned by his sister and all who knew him. God rest his tender, brave young spirit. Wow. First Lord Bishop of Gibraltar. See, I'm looking up at that flag there, which is Malta's flag with the George cross on it. And we was just talking, me and Chris, we couldn't believe how everybody was just walking past the George cross, which is one of the most important things that they've actually got. I mean, it's on their flag. Look at that. It's very different. It's quite a modern one. I think it was built in the early 1800s. No organ. I don't know if that's going to be a theme throughout Malta. I'm not sure. It's the font. I think there's a prayer there. Difficult to read, to be fair. It says St Paul's Anglican Cathedral, Valetta. You are standing in a church whose very existence is inspired by a Queen of England who believed in the freedom of a people to worship as they wished. It has survived 2 world wars and provided a place of prayer, comfort and sanctuary for the citizens and soldiers who lived through these times. Today the church is known as St Paul's Cathedral, but it remains forevermore Queen Adelaide's church. If I remember rightly, Queen Adelaide, was she the wife of one of our kings, I think? Oh yeah, the widow of King William IV. Queen Adelaide decided to visit Malta during the winter of 1838 for health reasons. Says after a first unsuccessful attempt to build a cathedral, the task was given to talented naval architect William Scamp. Williams, born in 1801, he'd been engaged in the restoration of Windsor Castle. So I wonder if that's her then, with the picture there. Yeah, that's her. Queen Adelaide. Oh, there's the organ. It's usually at the back. Big naval influence on a lot of the things that are in here, which is not surprising. But there's the organ. Look at the naval entrance again with their the badges of different ships. Very nice. Done. Done. Fun. Well, I can't believe how fortified Valetta is. It's just like this all over. It's quite an amazing place, to be fair. Really, really cool. Really cool. So, I don't know what Lascaris war rooms are. Not.
What that means?
What?
War rooms.
Don't know. Well, we're going to just keep going, or?
Well, I'll put that.
Oh man.
It's free.
So we're going to have a look and find out. See if we can find out what this Lascaris war rooms are. Oh, actually, it's taking us right out of our way. It's not there. So maybe we'll look another time.
Yeah.
We don't want to be down there. It's taking you right down there in the thing. So we're not going today. We'll have a look and see what it's all about. And the reason why we're not going is because it's we've decided we're going to walk back, but we're miles away. We're right over the other side of the waters, so we're not actually near here. It's a 2-hour walk for us. So we've had lunch anyway, dinner. We had a pizza. I had a mushroom one. Christine had a pepperoni one, and they were both really, really nice. Really nice. Oh, was it? Yeah, it said it was shut anyway, so it was a good choice not to go that way. It is late on in the day. It took us pretty much most of the day to walk around that Bastion, the War Museum. That was absolutely brilliant, that was.
£50 a ticket,
War rooms are £50 a ticket. So we'll see how good that is before we go in. I mean, where we've just been, which has been absolutely amazing, you get here on Malta, seniors age starts at 60 here, so there's a bonus there. So a lot of tickets that I get, well, for me, I only pay a seniors rate on it. So that was a bit unexpected. The place that we went to, where nearly all this video was filmed, cost us...
Well, it was supposed to be €10, we paid £5.50 for both.
Yeah, it was supposed to be €10 each.
I was free,
but I got in for £5.50 as a senior, and Christine got in for free for the disabled, so that was absolutely brilliant. There's a cenotaph in the middle of the Christine. There's a cenotaph in the middle of the roundabout, which Christine insists that we negotiate traffic to do. So we're at the War Memorial. How fantastic is that? I'm presuming that's burning all the time. There's King George the cross that's actually marked on there as well. That's a really cool monument. very impressive. I think it lights up at night, I think, as well. So anyway, we're taking our walk back. God knows how we're going to get across this road again. We'll try. We'll see. Wow. This church we've come across by accident. Look at these chandeliers that they're protecting. Look, how amazing! It's got a right long, weird name. This, like a Spanish type name. Won't go in that bit because where there's a service going on. But look at that. Wow. So now they are what you call candles. They are proper candles, then. Proper candles. Look at that. Wow. Wow. And the organ. So far the organs have been quite small, but well, they certainly use some big candles here, some more here, look at them. Whoppers. They've got wooden wedges in there, look, to hold them up. Fantastic. Amazing. Although I do find some strange like that. Which I think is supposed to be Jesus in his tomb before he was resurrected. Very different. Very different. Let's have a look at the ceiling. Now, if I tilt my camera up, what you can see there, but if I walk this way a little bit, I can get this ceiling at this end, which I actually missed. So we're down near the altar again. Well, look at that. How fantastic is that? Some of the paintings up there on the wall. Really amazing. Beautiful. Brilliant. Right. Go on. How far? Okay, that church that we've just been in, there is the Church of the Holy Trinity. Just come across there. I could tell you what, it's getting quite warm, but it's raining, weirdly enough. Anyway, I suppose onwards and upwards.